very beautiful Wednesday afternoon to you. Welcome to Midweek Politics live from Mainland 98.3 FM. What a week we've had. When I say what a week we've had, I'm talking about the last time we came up on this show, which was last week, Wednesday, till today, the 29th day of January. I'm saying next week is still January. Different platform in terms of, yes, 2024, so far so good, and we've always had in November in Nigeria, which is field leadership. We see percent of but there's communications that will run into thousands. So drink a lot of water. It's Wednesday for you today. Well, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, remember, he's been popular now because he's always been on the news. We'll talk about their calls for the unconditional release of president to release in the state government. The fact of anything for the first time is always a Wednesday tonic, 120 straight minutes of conversation around politics, hardcore politics. Well, I'm always usually joined by Victor Achibong and Said Fuad. Unfortunately, we had to send Victor for compulsory sabbatical of 1 week, so he's not going to be on the show today. I have to take care of his voice. Said Fuad is here, and that means we have a lot to talk about on the show today. Said Fuad, President Donald Trump has been ruffling feathers, sending message with undertone of threats to all of the countries that are fighting against each other, to the point that even the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has come out and said that he's ready to discuss with Ukraine, but not with Zelensky. Well, international politics on the issue of deportation. We spent a lot of time last week Wednesday talking about even playing an audio or the cost of deportation, but it looks like Donald Trump is serious with this one. Colombia, Mexico. I saw the list of non-documented immigrants that are Mexicans in the US. Side for that, 254,841. They are the most affected. Nigeria has about maybe 3,900 or thereabout. Mexico has almost 300,000 immigrants that are undocumented. Let me ask you, what do you make of Donald Trump's second coming in the last maybe 10 days? It looks like he's been there for 10 years.
Well, thank you so much, Okwemi, for having me. A beautiful afternoon to discuss politics, local, international politics, and of course, get our listeners also informed about major developments in the political space. It's a very simple thing. Yes, we can have our different opinions on the talk. It was very clear ab initio during the campaigns. He didn't mince words. It was clear what he was out to do. His first term, maybe because he didn't really understand the system.
Now maybe it was thinking second time I can still do some of these things.
Because again, remember his own idea of solving the problem of immigration in the southern border was to build the wall. So I guess along the line to fence. Your stay might not be legal, but that they don't have information about you is a lie. So you can see how systems work. You understand what I'm saying? That look, you might have come in, crawled through the borders, coming through anywhere.
We know you,
but as long as you're on that soil, that they maybe a few of them are immigrants who work in the system and they are paid under what is called the under the table kind of payment, payment that does not go through the tax system, but that you exist in that country on any part of the country and there's no information about you. I doubt it really, because you can come in illegally while you are hoping to get your documents. They are sure going to take your biometrics. Sure. They're going to take your information. Sure. They know
capture
where you
your
exist.
face.
Capture, so they have your information. So Now, but you have a president who is saying that, look, once you are undocumented, you have to leave my country.
Smoke you out.
You know, and I think the first set of people he's going after are people with criminal records. You know, people who already have criminal records. He also feels that, look, a lot of these illegal immigration on the southern borders are being orchestrated by drug cartels. You know, so those guys are more like special utility vehicles for the movement of drugs
in and out of the US,
from the most southern part of America into the US and all of that. So I understand that even immigration, there are people who go in, they are dreamers, who are hoping that, look, there's greener pasture. They just want to go there, work in factories, do their legitimate thing, get married, get documented, and become Americans and contribute to the prosperity of that country. But there are people who also walk through a syndicate of drug cartels who also move people. We can't just throw our borders open. The reality is this, Okwemi. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I've always told people, America is not easy to go in. You can't get their visas easily. You can't cross their borders
go to
easily
Water Carrington
and see what people are facing.
Sleep there and all that.
So their rules are tough, and that's why one of the most valued visas all over the world is still the American visa, because you see that even where you are trying to get visas of other countries, they will ask you, do you have a valid American visa? Because they feel that, look, you must have gone through a lot of screening
to get that.
To get that visa.
Get that,
they just feel that, well, you have just a little
with almost access to almost 200 countries.
You know, because I'm not even talking about their passport. I'm
even
saying
the visa itself.
They ask you, do you have a valid US visa?
If you say yes,
they feel that, okay, for you to have that one,
there's no way. Where do you want to?
Just a little work we need to do. So America is big, no doubt. It's a country that is big. Their founding fathers have laid the foundation for the bigness we see of them today, the mightiness we see of them today, the strength we see. It's a lot of work, years of commitment to nation building. So what we have is a wave of cultural anxiety sweeping through the Western world. Understand that, look, we're in a period of cultural anxiety. What has happened is that, look, these are countries that have over pampered their own people. They make everything available to them. For example, in Canada, news is that, look, one of the problems they had with Justin Trudeau was that, look, some of their benefits, because the economy is getting tough, inflation is rising, it decided to cut some of those benefits, you know. And these are guys who are used to their benefits. They are used to all of these subsidies, these benefits that goes to them. So any government that says, oh, yes, you are still going to get these benefits, but we need to bring it down a bit because the economy cannot support all this. They go after the person. And so the easiest scapegoats, the people they scapegoat, you know, for the reasons why the government is cutting are the immigrants. Oh, they are not sharing with us the things that are supposed to come to us. But look, I had to engage one of my friends who has been in Canada for like 15 years, and he's saying that, look, what Trudeau had seen was that, look, they have to be realistic. They don't have to listen to these guys who are just throwing this very vague narrative of, oh, they are coming to take our jobs. That, look, the average person in Canada, for example, who is a Canadian, they don't give birth to children. Some of them are living with cats, with dogs. Maximum they give birth to one child. So there's this aging issue. The workforce is becoming a problem. The youth population is becoming a problem. So it's getting leaner and leaner every day. And you can't continue to drive a prosperous economy without a youthful workforce, a workforce that can drive your factory, drive your farms. In fact, it was telling me that, look, because of this problem of workforce, you had a situation where they had to make an agreement with the governor of Jamaica. They go into Jamaica, get young people, take them in, collect their passports, they make them work on their farms for 3 months, pay them heavily, and take them back to Jamaica after the planting season. When it's time for harvest, they do the same thing again. So, you know, Trudeau was just a man, like several other liberal leaders in the European and Western world, was like, we need these guys to come in. We need them in our factories, we need them in our farms, we need skilled workers, we need masons, we need plumbers, we need because there are people who do those jobs. Okay, the caregivers. Who are the guys who do the caregiver jobs? And the caregivers are for the benefit of their own aging population. They stay with them, they take care of them, they ensure they take their drugs and all of that. So, but again, you now have a situation where most of the economies of these countries can no longer support these kinds of largesse, these kinds of economic support. And so when they cut it down, these guys think, oh, it's because some people are sharing these things with us. So that's cultural anxiety. And then of course you have people who are just naturally racist. It's not about sharing or no sharing.
They just don't
when
want
it's just see a person of color, it's
they
a problem.
just don't want to.
They just don't want to see them around, you know. So they also lash onto that narrative to say, oh, you know, they are coming here to cause trouble. I was telling Sejela in the morning, Okoyemi, we've had God knows how many in 2024 we had over 100 mass shooting in the United States, and I don't think in any of those mass shooting we had up to 2 that have been done by an immigrant. And if they want to tell you today that one of the leading causes of deaths in the United States are these gun violence, mass shootings, you know, somebody who just gone deranged,
just
pick up a gun and assault rifle,
and
so we had hundreds of cases reported in the US in 2024, and the data is showing that, look, it was done basically by these white Americans who are citizens. So if you're going to be looking at crime rate, really, it's difficult to say, oh, it's these guys who are coming in. You know, at some point during the campaign, Donald Trump was so, you know, funny with his narrative for, you know, the crimes committed by. He said they are even eating our cats. That they're coming to eat our cats, you know, to show you the disdain really they have for immigrants who, you know, and the sad part of all of this conversation is that, look, these guys who are pushing these narratives are also immigrants. You know, there are people who have come from somewhere. The parents of Donald Trump had come from a part of Europe. His wife Melania had also come from somewhere. In fact, she came for a beauty pageant, and then the man saw him, you know, decided to take her as a wife. And so it and this is a country of dreamers. That's why it's called a country on the hill. You know, and then you have the Statue of Liberty, you know, stretching her arms wide open. And what does he say? Is that, look, come. You know, you are persecuted anywhere in the world. You have talent anywhere in the world. You have a dream for prosperity. This is the land of freedom. Come, we'll take you. You know, but again, things are changing very fast. And I think this is the most challenging period, really, for the West, America, the West, and the developed world when it comes to how politicians have now weaponized the problem of cultural anxiety amongst their societies. You know, like I said, politicians are all over the same all over the world. The difference is in the institutions that's able to hold them to account. You know, so basically they look at, they just read they smell the coffee, read the room, get public perception,
and they sell it,
and they just sell it for their own political benefits. And that's what we're seeing with the US. The most important thing that we should pay attention to here back in Nigeria and Africa at large is that, look, there's no place like home. Develop your own country. You know, just do what you have to do, you know, to develop your own country. Use the resources of your own people to develop your own country, and you know, not be bothered by all of these American problems.
It is not just deportation or immigration issues that the dependence on America. How far Nigeria is like the second beneficiary of that from the US. So the question is this: how far have we gone with our own, local discoveries or issues that have to do with finding solutions to HIV and all of that? So if the funding reduces, it's a lot of problem. I was reading something by one of the guys I follow on one of the social media platforms, and it was saying that now people living with HIV in Nigeria, and by the way, maybe the larger percentage, about 70% of people living with HIV/AIDS actually are sexually transmitted. But it is not everybody. People get it by birth. People get it by so many other things. There are a lot of circumstances that must have. I mean, there was a case of someone put out in past. But the problem now is that for people getting subsidies are no longer coming. The funding, sure that if you are sharing sharp objects, keep yourself clean and stay safe. So let's come back. 3,900 people. Yeah, I mean, it's about.
So you understand that, look, if they eventually find out more
boys,
so
you see that maybe only 65
to criminal acts, but you know, either most times they just go to work, come back home, they don't go to clubs, they say there's a crime committed in the US, unlike the other guys on the southern borders who are just crazy.
Ferry, they've demanded the Yoruba social cultural group. Now, the group in the communicates different courts. And the group justice follow a group described without trial, saying national reconciliation. What is this?
And of course, telling the government similar in the Ghanaian dams and all bits of national reconciliation led to some national reconciliation in this part. Nigeria is not serving. Thinking Nigeria, we are not getting the first problem. There are people who have sound minds. You have a card engines of the best of our of war. They have been questioned the country. Nigeria polluted people really have it practically because again you have so. the conversation will continue. I still question. Look at the tax reforms in India, for example. You have the Kashmir is a breakaway nation. But what I've always said, think of the structure. In fact, you can say, look, I don't trust. Look, I don't want to be called for the agencies. There are videos of would begin to do things that at some point our political solution to the matter. They are so bad. To this, I've said that look, release him to the states.
But from so doing east in the last on the show right now, formations are being overrun, soldiers killed, soldiers. Yes, even Uzodinma said that he does not even know where this place got to. This place, that everyone in the village,
warned people from going there.
They've deserted the village. Is that bad? And I think I've asked Mr. Mɪᴅ-ᴇᴇ this question, and I'm going to ask you again: the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Don't you think people have grown strength and command and control that the release in Nnamdi Kanu will do almost nothing to calming the anarchy going on in the southeast side forward?
Well, it might not immediately calm or resolve the problem of the chaos and crisis we have in the southeast now, but at least to give some form of identity to the troublemakers. Because all we have now is a situation where you can't really place who is who. Recently,
so many interests.
Recently, some quote unquote IPOB or Iṛsᴛ members were killed, and had the police issuing a statement to say IPOB Iṛsᴛ terrorists killed, and you had, I think IPOB is even going to court to say look and all of that. That who says these are IPOB members, and how did they suddenly become a terrorist? Although in Nigeria the government had designated IPOB and the Iṛsᴛ, the terrorist organization. But what you have in the southeast now is that look, when this anarchy is perpetrated, even though we've seen videos of people saying, look, I'm doing this for Nnamdi Kanu, it's IPOB, blah blah blah, they take the signal up, Biafra, blah. There are people who tell you that no, they are just pretending to be what they are not. People are just taking advantage. Give us a clear idea of who these guys are. At least if he has been released, you cannot say you are causing trouble again because he's in detention. And then we might now also see a situation where the military can now fully deploy its might. It's a commitment to non-violent agitation. The narrative has changed so badly, where religion, ethnicity have been weaponized. I know. You see that, look, if we are playing a football match, for example, everybody is one. Everybody is rooting for the country, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Hausa. If it's a Yoruba man that scores, everybody supports if it's an Igbo man. So you know that it's not that we hate ourselves. It's just that, look, somehow, because of the kind of systemic failure we have in governance, people now take advantage of these things, to begin to cause disaffection and division amongst the people. So it's very important that, look, one of the conditions that we may see for its eventual release will be a commitment to non-violent agitation. He can agitate, why not? It's within his right to agitate and say, no, we have to change this. We need more states. No. Even if he says he wants to break away, the question is, can you fulfill the legal requirement, for you to leave the union? So a lot, that can still go into this conversation.
We're going to leave this one right now and move to Yakubu Doga. But again, justice. Side forward, people have been killed. People are still getting killed. Parents have lost their children. Children have been made orphans. People have been widowed. People have been people have had their source of existence taken away from them. People have been amputated. People would live with those scars for the rest of their lives. If you release Nnamdi Kanu and there's sanity in that region, how important do you think social justice and reconciliation are to be? Because I'm going to ask you, if somebody stood up and said, oh, I killed your mother because I'm agitating for this person, if you release that person, what happens to me that you have taken my father and mother away from me? Is this a dilemma for the federal government side forward?
Well, a big dilemma for the government, because again, this matter has lingered for too long.
2021?
Yes, it's lingered for too long. Number two, you see why this has become a big problem that has now become very difficult to deal with, is the failure of the political class. Look, we've talked about non-state actors having a bigger influence on the people. They are not elected. Someone is somewhere, he tells people to do something,
and they do it.
And I think it was one of our callers that said that, look, almost 90% of the people of the southeast are sympathetic to the cause of IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. And why are they looking at non-state actors for solutions to their problem or for solidarity? It's because the so-called people in the political that they keep voting for have continually failed them. Look at how most of the states in the southeast have been misgoverned. Practically no development. Even in Anambra, people are saying that look, it's going to be a big referendum on Professor Soludo because he has just come to speak all the grammar. There's really nothing that has changed. That's what a lot of people we've spoken to are saying. That look, from maybe, from back to back the excesses, and say, look, can we really say that look, these politicians have really done well, to improve on the living standards of the people? Look at Abia State, for example, until maybe recently with Alex Otti, maybe things will change. But if you look at, the kind of leaders they've gotten, you go to Imo State,
to Enugu.
So it's the same problem. So you now have people who like, oh, if you can't deal with the political class, but there are people who can call them to question, we rather align ourselves with them.
That's dangerous.
So what you see when agitations like these become, gets the support of the people, you have to look at the political class. Are you even doing the right thing? To the extent that somebody somewhere will say, people don't go out on Monday,
and governors will say go out, and they will obey the people.
It's a big message. It's a big message. It is a big message. And the message is that look, the political class have continually failed the people. So social justice, yes. The release of Nnamdi Kanu, yes. But the most important thing that can bring, calm, that can bring some form of decorum, peace to that region, is if the social justice comes from the political class in that region, using the resources of that region to build and develop that region. I've been looking at this governor from the current governor in Enugu State, and you could see that look, Peter Umba. I think to a great extent you can see some,
the state have been a bit calm away from all of the.
I think it's a guy who understands what the people need. I'm not accessing him yet. I'm just saying that look, there seems to be some glimmer of hope. It seems to be one beacon of hope, really, from what we have in the southeast. I think the other person is the governor of Abia State. He seems to be changing the narrative quietly, if you understand what I'm saying. So much, not so much, we're getting from Ebonyi State. Yeah, people have said the current Minister of Works did a very good job as governor of Ebonyi State. So if leaders of those states, yes, the call for more states and all of that will continue. But if the people of the state can begin to see, some meaningful development, maybe that would also assure them that look, being part of the union called Nigeria is not necessarily a problem. You can still live within the union and be prosperous, but it still boils down to how well the political class in that region can govern those states.
Well, thank you very much. We had to spend some quality time on the call of the Yoruba social group, Afenifere, demanding for an unconditional release of detention since 2021. Remember all of the narrative that surrounded how he was, maybe arrested in Kenya and all of that, brought back into the country, his continuous detention, different judges passing off the case on areas of lack of jurisdiction and so many other issues. But well, friend is asking the president to say, you know what, please release this man for the interest of peace and national reconciliation. Now, let's talk some little bit of politics. And this time around, we're stepping quickly to Bauchi State, where the former Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, now talking about Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, had said that the current governor of the state, Bala Mohammed, is ungrateful to Wike for all of the things that Wike did to him. I mean, he's alleging that Wike bankroled the campaign of Bala Mohammed. And let me just run through the story. Former House of Representatives Speaker, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, has exposed the pivotal role played by the FCT Minister, FCT Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike in the emergence of Bala Mohammed as Bauchi State Governor in 2023. Yakubu Dogara spoke yesterday against the back. Should be told, he also exposed his election. Let me quote Yakubu Dogara. He said, "Of conflict was allowing arm to go unchallenged. I've prioritized my cause when bruised aside that pushed this event." So let me run through to what he said. He said, "I've learned to say the truth and I enjoy my freedom from being a slave to human opinion. For starters, need I remind Governor Bala Mohammed that in 2018, the PDP gubernatorial primaries, when we were not so sure he would win, His then major opponent, Senator Abdul Ningi, was the one who constituted the state party structure and had his bosom friend as chairman. It was Wike who Bala Mohammed turned to for help. Yakubu Dogara said, I called Wike to plead with him to help Bauchi without necessarily disclosing to him that it was Bala Mohammed we wanted to deliver. His response to me was, are you sure you are in control of the process 100%? And I said I wasn't too sure, and he said to me, leave it to me, I would help you to sort it out. This is a conversation between Yakubu Dogara and the current FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. He said Wike first made his bosom friend and close ally, Chief Dan O.C. Obi, the chairman of the panel of the primaries, and said I should discuss whatever I wanted with Chief Dan. We got talking, and on the eve of the primaries, Chief Obi was in Benin City. We needed to get him to Bauchi for the assignment. It was Wike that had turned to again, and his response to me was, my brother, I've told Chief Dan to Bauchi and out of Bauchi for the assignment. I can say without fear and any contradiction that Wike bore all the expenses of the exercise. He went on to describe how fundraiser, and to cut the long story short, all we raised from the fundraiser was 48 million. And if you deduct 20 million investing in organizing it, that means we had only 28 million. I have records of all of the stakeholders, and they are here to bear me witness. And this is where the twist came up. He said, I told our then 2 serving senators who are alive and can testify that the only option we have is to go and beg the then Governor Wike for assistance. We got ticket and flew to Port Harcourt with Bala Mohammed without informing Wike that we were coming. On arrival, we were ushered into the government house and asked to take our seat and wait for the governor, who was still upstairs, to join us shortly. As soon as Wike walked down the stairs to join us and saw Bala Mohammed, his countenance changed, and I noticed he was cold towards me for the very first time. He asked us to join him in the dining room for breakfast, but excuse me, while those on the delegation waited. What happened next was nerve-wracking and humbling, I must say. He was like, Speaker, why did you bring Bala to my house without even caring to find out what our mission was? I said to him, I thought he's your friend, but since both of you served under the cabinet of former President Goodluck Jonathan, and he said to me, let me tell you what you don't know. When we were ministers, Bala Mohammed allocated plot of land to all the ministers except me. Side fact, are you following the story? He said, when we were ministers, Bala Mohammed allocated plot of land to all of the ministers except me. He also recalled how he humiliated him when he went to see him in his office as a colleague minister, just to get an approval to increase the number of floors on a building he had in Abuja, not to beg for plots, but he refused to allocate it. He said Bala Mohammed kept him in a waiting room for hours and later sneaked out of the office. That from that day, he made up his mind never to have anything to do with Bala Mohammed again. Side forward, the problem with PDP is it looks like it's even bigger than some of us actually know. It looks like their ego, personal vendetta, witch hunting, so much causing the problem in the PDP. Let me go on. He said, I wish you had told me that it's Bala Mohammed you are rooting for, but whatever you want, I will assist you guys, because I don't say no to a brother, but I assure you, you will regret your decision if Bala Mohammed becomes governor. That was what Yakubu Dogara alleged that Wike told him. The rest, they say, is history. So let's just keep all of that. Side forward, the part that caught a lot of us was that Yakubu Dogara further went on to say, he said Wike called and directed that his cash assistance be handed over to me to pass to Bala, because he does not want to see Bala Mohammed at all. He said, Your Excellency, and I said, Your Excellency, it is better you call him so that he can collect the assistance and at least think that while almost kissing the ground. That is Dogara saying, now Governor Bala Mohammed collected the money we left with that day. I will remind him. Wike didn't stop there. He gave us a private jet to take us back to Abuja, and I must add that was not the only time Wike helped Bala with resources and logistics. What is baffling is that the so-called that he called Wike transactional Wike. Remember what happened last week Saturday, where Governor Bala Mohammed referred to the FCT minister as transactional Wike. He said he did not demand for anything in return or place any contract. How Yakubu Dogara was big in the north, especially being the Speaker of the House of Representatives, that about the number 4th man in the country at that moment. Being from Bauchi State, you will know that except the governor releases a counter statement to this, you can pick some of the realities of what usually happens when it comes to election from what, in fact, is pushing for his presidential ambition on the platform of the PDP. Wike is still a member of the PDP, even, but where is this whole drama leading us to? We can't deny the fact that the opposition in the country had not exactly lived up to his responsibility because they're having internal issues to deal with. Otoba Segun joined us on the show last week, Wednesday, and one of the things he said was that until the opposition party settle their issues, the Labour Party are having factions within themselves.
Well, it's leading us nowhere. We're getting deeper and deeper into a political system that will see, more on that development, more people getting stronger than the institution. We're getting into a situation where we're also going to be seeing a lot of compromise, where those pillars that are supposed to hold our democracy will begin to fall one after the other if we're not careful. And when I say pillars now, you're supposed to have a structure that ensures people are kept on their toes, people are held to, that Dogara talked about. And I appreciate the fact that you took your time to read the whole story. More like you're supposed to sound like Tales by Moonlight to me. In what part of what he said did he discuss the issue of governance? In everything we now know that Dogara, one of them was Yakubu Dogara. He was one of them. The second one was the man that has now been appointed, Daniel Bwala. And then the other minister that cut grass
with 200 million.
Babacha Lawal.
Babacha Lawal. Yes.
Babacha Lawal. There were these three front
guys
runners for the APC and the presidency. If you have noticed, he's been the one also pushing the narrative of
true.
Number one, he's talking about the governor of his state. What is the ambition of Dogara now? There are people from some of the information we've gotten that look, he's also eyeing the seat of governor of Bauchi State.
True.
After speaker, he was open. That's something. So a lot of times when they say this not align with yours, you become the enemy, and I can come up with all manner of bubu yaya stories to just, because at the end of the day, Okoyemi, these are guys who are not even ashamed to say some of these things out. If you understand what I'm saying. So I want to question the integrity of the person talking. If your ideology, your thinking at that time was, I say no to Muslim ticket, what has suddenly changed that you have become some kind of mouthpiece? And if a Dogara does not see anything wrong in what Wike is doing to decimate and destroy the PDP, then what are we talking about? So that look, these guys have started the rigmarole. They started the Kurukere movement. Everything is towards 2027. It is positioning that you are seeing. And look, okay, if I look at this side, okay, I'm not going to be able to get anything through this governor.
See if I can tilt to this side.
Tilt to the other side. And then I begin to now talk as if I'm really so much interested on the other side. You understand what I'm saying? Most likely, maybe Bala Mohammed already has a mind for who is going to become his successor. So the man looks at,
Dogara is not on
if
that
I cannot get, so if he's not on that list, I go to the other side and see whether
I'm on the good side of Wike, maybe I can from there enter presidency.
Before you know, maybe the APC will, and then if the presidency can support me, who knows? So we know all these things. When they Gbewa, we know. When they bring it up, we know. It's not, and for people who are going to jump on this, it's not anything that concerns nation building. It's just about personal interest. And then on the matter again, he bankrolled, the governorship ambition in 2018/2019. Wike provided private jets,
money.
He provided money. He provided logistics.
Everything.
In this narrative of what the PDP was in 2019, 2015, there's always this conversation about what the Wike had been able to do, the way he was personally financing the state. With what money? Is personal money?
No.
We need to ask ourselves. We don't count the cost. We don't ask questions here. Can a minister Wike tell us where he got those monies from? He was known to be a lawyer. And then from there he moved. He's almost practically all his life.
He's been in the political space.
So how did he become so wealthy? To the point where we say the election will no concern him for Bauchi. If it is true,
that was why he could come out to say that if you don't back off from River State, I'm going to throw fire in your state.
So even before he became so powerful to throw fire into states, because it's another level again. He has now become so powerful that he can shut people up by saying, I'll throw fire into your state. But this idea, this story that keeps coming up of he bankrolled this, he was funding the PDP alone.
Consistently. Even Wike himself has said it, he had never left the PDP since 19. He has been funding the party.
At a stage, he himself said he bought funds for people.
In his state.
So those, and that's why we keep questioning our commitment to fighting corruption. Clear cases that people like the EFCC can be taking notes. Okay, and then begin to check the books. All of the cases that EFCC had with River State before, how far are we on them? And then this, when people keep coming up to the public to tell you he funded this, he bought fund for this, he bankrolled this, he provided private jet. Can a politician spend his personal money like that?
Where do they have the personal money? Once a politician, you don't have personal money.
So you now understand why nothing gets done in this country. You now understand why the narrative of there's no money, people should tighten their belts, cannot sink. When we know that, look, at the end of the day, this is where all of the monies will go to. At the federal, national, subnational level, these are the things we are doing. We are bankrolling, we are providing private jets, we are flying. Look, when they move around, if you see the wastages in our system, the wastages in our system. So, at the end of the day, the politicians can continue to fight. It is left for the average Nigerian to begin to take note of these things and don't be deceived about all the noise and commitments to nation building. The kinds of characters we have, if some of these things they are telling us is true, because you might have a wicked come out to tell you that
I don't know Bala.
I don't know Bala. I don't know. I didn't send him to say this, and there's not. But if it is true, and if we can even tie this to what Wike himself have said about buying funds for people, you see, it's just that again we're a country that we continue to deceive ourselves, and that's why we are not making meaningful progress. And if after 25 years of sustained democracy, this is the situation we have, we are still bankrolling, we are still moving around, providing private jet. So at the end of the day, we cannot give up on the nation, but it's almost looking like a lost cause. If we want to say the way it is, so as much as we cannot give up, we have to continue to. Everything I say, I talk about nation building. When you aggregate these things, when you put them together, just some weeks ago we were talking about Bala Mohammed himself buying 6 computers with 400 million naira in the budget. Today now they said in your home state for phone calls alone 200 million.
Side, please. My governor is settling down. Please leave my home state.
You see, and it's so sad. It's so sad because this is a period where people are suffering. People are going through shaggy.
Maximum one.
And the government keeps telling us, we're raising money, raising revenue. We're hoping to use the money to better the lives of the people, and we see the wastages, the pilfering, the reckless spending. You look around, nothing has changed. Only the lives of the politicians, their cronies and associates. They've also positioned people in the business world. They are the ones that get all the contracts. They are the ones that takes care of the most critical sectors of our life.
So they also get
they're in the power sector, they are in the oil and gas sector,
they're in the telecommunication
sector. So they hold everything down for their people who are in power.
So once they leave power, they also come back
and all of that. So what happens is that those ones stay there as their placeholders in the business world. So whatever they do, they fund, they create structures for them to thrive. So it's almost like a conspiracy of some sort. It's a ring. It's a syndicate.
It's a syndicate.
And then they also have the religious leaders to continue to distract the minds of the people. So every day they tell you to continue to pray for your leaders. They continue to tell you pray. God just going to pray. So you still have Nigerians who go into this religion, whether Muslim or Christian, who think that their problem is in those places. No, I drew a longer in the US. I was in Las Vegas, in the whole of that city. I saw one church. In the whole of Las Vegas, I was moving around, from the conference center to my hotel, and I just one church, one small cathedral, but the city is running. The city is functioning,
and the people are thriving.
And if you say the highest number of sin that you can find anywhere in the world, it has to be Las Vegas.
Whatever happens in Las Vegas
stays in Las Vegas, and it's not anything.
No, it's not anything.
From the airport down to everywhere is there. So, but the city is running, functioning. There's power, there's water, good road. The people there are getting the benefits of what governance should be. Where are the prayers in those cities?
The modern city, the bride of Europe right now, Turkey, was at some point the percentage of what it is Muslim wise when it was Christian wise right now.
So what are we talking about? So you
there are less than 5% Christians now in Turkey.
It's a collabo. I'm telling you, it's either we believe it or we don't believe it. It's a collaboration. So you know, we are so religious. We go there, we keep crying, raising up our hands. We go there, we fast and do everything. Look, at the end of the day, God has given us everything to thrive. You understand? God has given us everything to thrive, and then the only people who are still being deceived by this conspiracy I'm talking about are the poor, innocent Nigerians who don't know. Unfortunately, too, we have a very wobbled electoral system. It's universal survey, one man, one vote. We speak all the truth in the studio. The man in the street is not listening to us. He will go there, collect 1,000 and still vote for these people we are talking about. So what's going to change?
Okay, I gave that stats and I needed to confirm it, and that's absolutely true. They said currently, as the data that was released in November 2024, in Turkey, 90% of the population are Muslim. Islam is the country's main religion. To be even more precise, you will see that there are differences in their form of Islam worshipper. 90% of Muslims, 70% of them are from the Sunni faith. So we have just 0.2%, and it used to be the other way around.
Let me
but development came in, and people just don't care.
And do you know the kind of Muslims they are? I've been to Turkey at least twice, and do you know what? They are so liberal in their Islamic faith.
Conservative practice.
They just do their thing. In fact,
nobody compels you to cover your head. Nobody puts anything on your neck.
And when you hear their done, when you hear the call to prayer in Turkey, most people you see, the percent of people you see going to mosque to pray are the older population or the aged people. The young ones are just there, just doing their own thing. But the country is running. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying we should not be religious.
Yeah.
But even God said, walk and pray.
Walk first.
Walk first.
Walk first.
I've given you arable land. I've given you mineral resources.
Seal the land.
So when you now do everything, you can now beg
pray
for the blessings of God
on it.
Or you pray for blessing when the work is there for you to do. You are not doing it. You are making money, you are stealing the money, taking the money abroad, throwing it around the world, and you are expecting development. Continue to pray now and continue to deceive yourself.
Let's go to the next story. I'm always very interested. I know how to get side forward. Anytime we make comparative conversation around nations that are working and the one that is not working, that is where side's bone used to be strong. I mean, it's understandable if you've been privileged to leave the shores of this country and you see countries where basic things that we count as a big deal in this country are functional in those places. Then you ask yourself, side forward, I've not traveled out of this country, maybe but I've left this country to nearby African countries, and I've seen the same people that were unruly, that were so disorganized at the airport here, and then we get to Kenya, the same people will queue up and wait for their luggages to arrive and act in every level of decency. And I'm asking, we were in Lagos a few hours ago, you were jumping queue, you were fighting somebody, and look at all of us here now.
Okay, I'll share an experience with you. Just Benin Republic across the borders. Do you know that all the jaku used to do on our roads here, if you go there, it's just a whistle. You don't go carry gun. This is their jam. When they blow the whistle, fume, you will stop.
You will not stop, okay?
Just whistle with their stick. You know, and we came from that situation too. Before it used to be Kondo Olokpa, it was not gone, and the Kondo was enough to stop people from misbehaving. Policemen were not carrying guns around the way we see them now. AK-47 everywhere, as if we're in a war situation. It was thick. And people at that time would listen. But we've been, you see, the years of military government where and the worst part of it was the 8 years of Babangida and the 5 years of Abacha. They just finished everything. Institutionalized corruption, entraced misbehavior. You know, give it to Buhari with Diagmo. They were trying to whip us back to line. The war against indiscipline. You must say, at least our older parents had explained that, look, it was a period where they were trying to redirect us.
There was some element of sanity,
you know. But this man came in 1985 and just messed everything up. And then he messed it up. The other one came for 5 years and just buried the whole thing.
I now want to do.
And then the political class that we had hoped on had now come, and they are already behaving worse than
the people we took them from.
We took power from. So you have a situation where, when you see where things work, I think there was a time I bought a car just across the borders, and I remember that when we bought the car in Benin Republic, they will not even chase you. You will go there by yourself to pay everything that you have to pay. Okay, they don't go. Nobody's going to chase you. The dealers will tell you, you pay this, you pay this, you pay this. You understand? You by yourself go there and pay what you are supposed to pay. By the time we got the car to the border, it was Nigerians that started telling me, say you want to pay or you want to.
You want to pay or you want
to fly. You want to.
That one is.
They in connivance with the people that were supposed to ensure we do the right thing. They were already. It was at our own side that they now started giving us the options to circumvent the process.
Are you going straight?
Or
you want your boys to
and that one too? The people know.
Yes, now.
Pay them. Say no.
Let me pay.
Let
me drive my car in peace.
So you see it. You go into these smaller nations of the West African sub-region, Benin Republic, Togo. They don't have the resources we have. They don't have the money we have. But you see that decorum. You see that discipline. They live within their means. They are that, orderly. You even see it in the ambience, the roads. You might not see anything too elaborate, but here, it's almost like a banana republic. Everything just.
Oh, we're really pressed for time, and Victor is not here, so I have to do a lot of readings today. Yeah. The messages are super piling up on our social media platforms. Well, it is Midweek Politics live on Mainland FM. Today is the first day you're joining us. I would want to invite you again and just make it a day with us from 1 to 3 p.m. every Wednesday, every single Wednesday of the week. And today on the show, we'll start off with the issue of the Yoruba socio-cultural group Afenifere demanding an unconditional release of the detained leader of the IPOB, that's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for the sake of justice and national reconciliation. We've also talked about the outburst of the former Speaker of the House of Reps, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, accusing his state governor, Governor Bala Mohammed, of being an ingrate and forgetting how Wike funded his election. And the details of that story, when I was reading it early this morning, I just told myself, like, we don't even have an idea of how we are being governed. We just know we are being governed. We don't even know what goes on, behind
until they find themselves.
Until they find death and all of these things.
And when they find, it's just a little, it's not everything.
This one is
just
about
small, 10% of the real thing that happened.
5% of the details. Well, let's talk about the former vice president. We're going to do this really quick. Side forward. Nigeria's democracy is at risk. That's the claim of the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and the former vice president of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And he says that Nigeria's democracy is at the crossroad, emphasizing that coalition building and an outright merger are crucial to removing the All Progressive Congress from power. I was speaking at the National Conference on Strengthening Democracy in Nigeria earlier in the week, and he said there's no doubt that our democracy is at the crossroad. For simply, it is at the risk of eroding completely, and it is not caused by one single person or one single administration. In fact, a number of us have been warning over the years that we may come to this pass if we lose our vigilance and fail to take corrective actions to protect and deepen our fragile democracy. At the risk of sounding modest, I doubt that there are many contemporary senior political leaders who have spoken out or done more to protect and promote our democracy and good governance than myself. Okay, that's some credit. In addition to public statement and presentation, I brought some actions to our court which produced landmark judicial decision intended to uphold our democracy principles and the practice. I've come out to say that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is just fueling and is bragging, according to what the opposition party responded with. And it says, still backing it up, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said, I want to make this public. I met with leaders of a political party that is in the opposition, and they openly admitted that this government gives them 50 million naira each. That's the allegation.
Is it per month? Salary
he just didn't put it there. He just said he met with them, and then they told leaders of opposition party
PDP,
that
PDP Labour Party and co.
It wasn't specific.
The details, yeah, okay.
He just said that, and they told him openly that this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gives them 50. He said gives, not gave.
And so that's what I'm saying.
So maybe it's a continuous thing, maybe it's a monthly thing, or it's even a weekly.
Is it individually too?
We don't know.
It would be nice for
he said gives them 50 million each, but the National Public Secretary of the APC, Felix Moka, had released a statement and describing Atiku's allegations as simply bogus and laughable. According to him, peddling rumors and the administration was paying out 50 million to some opposition figures is simply bogus and laughable. Atiku knows that his political desperation is responsible for this PDP's catastrophic disintegration. Side forward, we are here again. Banters, words flying out. But Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had been within the Nigerian political space for God knows when.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of people don't even know that he contested the primaries in 1990 in Jos against late Moshood Kashimawo. In fact, words flew out that Atiku Abubakar actually had better numbers in that primaries than MKO. That was as far back as 1990, and he's been within the space. He was vice president from 1999 to 2007, aspired to the post of the president in 2011 under the then ACN. He didn't get the ticket. The ticket went to Nuhu Ribadu, now the NSA. He went back to the PDP, got the ticket in 2019, ran a joint ticket with Peter Obi. It didn't work. In 2023, he ran a joint ticket with the immediate past governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa. It still didn't work. So he's been within this political space. So if he's saying that he's been advising, he's been talking, who are the people he's been speaking to?
Well, Atiku, because again, I said that it would have been nice if we got more details. Because for me, to the way if it is true that the APC has been funding some members of the opposition
to continue to destabilize the
opposition, I think 50 million is not what we can't do the job. You don't understand what I'm saying? Unless he's saying 50 million every month,
maybe every month
or every 3 months, or is it per person? Or
but side fact, to some opposition party, 50 million is a lot. Especially those that don't have any elected representative.
Okay, depending.
No, don't mention our.
What I'm saying is, if he's saying 50 million, I still find that statement bogus, really, because 50 million, is it to the party leaders? Because okay, let's even help ourselves so that we can open the phone lines and begin to take contributions. What is destabilizing the PDP today, Okoyemi?
Ego.
And
personal vendetta,
and personal
political interest.
So is it a 50 million thing? I'm not saying monies cannot move around or people are not, throwing monies around to cause all manner of things within the opposition. But I think that, look, instead of saying things like 50 million, I think Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should look inwards, look at himself really, and say whether he's also not a part of the problem for the opposition. He also needs to ask himself, this is my ambition, can I drop it for the sake of the opposition? Should I drop it for the sake of the democracy that we run? Should I also sacrifice that ambition for the sake of nation building? You understand what I'm saying? Because look, whether we like it or not, one of the reasons why there are members of the PDP who are not going to want to sit down for any form of reconciliation is what they consider as the inordinate ambition of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. That why is he so insistent? You've tried. It's time for you to sacrifice and
maybe support someone, maybe endorse someone.
We're not saying he's not qualified. I'm just saying for sake of if truly is so much intended on pushing the narrative for a better nation and what have you. You can see that even Bala Mohammed has said that look, he will support someone else but Atiku. He had even said that look, is his support of a Southerner becoming the president in 2027, and that if, for example, a Goodluck Jonathan runs, he will support Goodluck Jonathan.
He said it's only Goodluck Jonathan that can make him bury his own ambition.
But that one too for Bala Mohammed get personal interest, because Bala Mohammed probably is thinking of positioning himself for 2031. If I can't get it now, at least 4 years.
Let them finish their 8 years.
And then, he doesn't want somebody there that will come and say he wants to do another 8 years. He's probably looking at his age. So when these politicians say these things, that look, they are doing their own calculations too. You understand? So what you have, for example, in the PDP as your opposition is not a 50 million problem. My mind tells me that it's not about 50 million. I'm not saying monies are not moving around.
How much you do in private jets?
So I think it's more about personal interest, desperation on the part of politicians, and I see the party running into a bigger problem ahead of, because look, and you can't blame the ruling party. It is to their favor for the opposition not to be able to.
It's politics.
Work together.
Yes.
It's just what it is. You might say it's dirty politics.
Whether they are funding it, whether they are doing this, whether they are doing that. I mean, you need the opposition to be distracted.
Like you were about to say, if there are no cracks in the wall,
the lizard cannot go in.
So you've created the opportunity. And the kind of the leadership we have in the APC today, they will help you to widen the crack.
The place that a strand of broom cannot enter, shovel will enter.
They will help you to widen it to the point that if they are not careful, the house will cave in and kill everybody in the opposition. Quote and unquote. It's not literally now, because they will help you. That crack you've opened, that little crack, it will become So it is left for Atiku to say, okay, at this point in my life, God has been merciful to me. 1990 started this journey. A custom officer, mere civil servant, rose through the rank and file against all odds.
Got the seat in Adamawa.
And then
came to vice president.
He was already elected governor.
Yes.
The man said, no, I want him as my running mate. Became the vice president, amassed so much political power to the point that, look, he was almost going to become president. And you've tried. It's not everybody that will be a Buhari. So that you try and you might not make it. But what legacy are you going to believe? It might just be that one man that people will say, oh, his sacrifice is the reason why there's a turnaround in the country. So that we can begin to now know the problems of the PDP, the troublemakers. Because as it is now, people like Wike will still tell you that so long as Atiku is still so desperate, I don't agree.
The party will not work. It will not work.
So you see. So that if Atiku, for example, comes out to say, okay,
I back down. I'm not running.
I support any other person. So people can now say, okay, Wike, what else do you want?
What else do you want?
Because at the end of the day, I keep asking myself, when they use on Wike, what is the end game for him? What does he really want to achieve now?
We were having this conversation, I think 2 weeks ago, downstairs in the office here. And I said, if I wasn't doing this job, and I'm not serving the responsibility of breaking all of these details down, if I have the opportunity, I would look at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and sit him down, cameras out, maybe lights out, just both of us in a room. I'm not even seeing his face, but we know that we are the only two people in that room. And I'll prostrate and say, we understand that you have legitimate right to your ambitions. Oh boy, you're not coming. Atiku Abubakar is 78 years old already. He was born in 1946. So
in 2 years' time, he will be 80.
He will be 80. So if he's running, if he wins, that means he will be president till he's 84. And maybe he wants to go for second time, be president. Are you for beer?
So that's what I'm saying. That look, he needs to begin to show a form of example to begin to tell people that look,
kingmaker maybe.
Not even a kingmaker. It's just an elder statesman who will speak more now to nation building than trying to
political correctness,
or than a man that is trying to call for a coalition because he's still thinking he can become president. I'm not God, or nobody saying he cannot become president, but it's just very important that we begin to see a different narrative from the Atiku camp. On the Wike side, before I was asking a question. Has he suddenly forgotten his ambition to become president? Or what is he chasing now? You don't understand what I'm saying. Now as it is, he's helping the APC to destroy the PDP, quote and unquote. Because all of the fight, you cannot tell me that, in fact, for him to have even pledged his support for 2027 ambition of the president, is to show you that he's not interested. He even worked against the interest of the PDP anyways in the last election.
Sure.
So the question is, for a man who was almost going to clinch the ticket of the PDP, and who, if he had clinched the ticket, was a president in waiting, it could have happened. Has he suddenly dropped the ambition and is so satisfied with the role of a quote and unquote a spoiler, with the role of a FCT minister? Is that everything? What is left?
They said he's a third-time governor.
Okay, so third time he wants to become
governor. He's governing FCT.
It would be nice to ask him that, sir, have you suddenly forgotten about becoming president? Because as it is, in the structure of the country, if Tinubu wins again in 2027, he will be there to 2021. So
2031.
2031. So what becomes of the political ambition of Wike?
Because he can't. Tinubu will not finish south of 8 years, and another south will still pick.
And he will not even work with his own narrative of you cannot have 8 years of south.
So maybe Wike will now wait after another 8 years. Then that will be like maybe 2039, 2039.
So okay,
that'll be like 15 years from now. Wike is still young. He's a young man.
He's a young man
compared to
no, I think even for him, if you calculate it, for 2 years from now, if for example a southerner other than him, which is most likely the situation, going to be the situation, becomes the president again, so 6 years.
Wike is just 57.
Add 6 years to it.
That's 63.
63. So if we say the thing should now go back to the north, add another
after
8 years.
That's 63, 7. That's 71.
71. Okay, still has a chance.
It still has a chance.
Okay, maybe that's what he's
close to the age of the current president.
Okay, maybe that's what he's working towards.
Calculation. He's thinking far.
Okay.
Thinking far.
Okay, it makes sense anyway.
All right, it's Midweek Politics live on mainland 98.3 FM. I think we have just 5 minutes to wrap up this conversation. Then we'll pick the calls. Please, I would need to beg you, when the calls start coming in, let's stick to 1 minute at great time. But let me quickly play you the sound bite of the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election and former governor of Anambra State, talking about His Excellency Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. There were two parts of that statement. First off, he said, "Count me out of any coalition against Tinubu and the APC." That's one part of that conversation, and then he went on to explain what he meant by that. If the coalition is about power grabbing alone, count me out. But let's play that soundbite, because that soundbite, boy oh boy, had generated a lot of the way the political people pushes the narrative. They picked the one that suits them. But let's listen to this. When we come back, we'll just talk about it very briefly. Then the phone lines are open. 0913-600-0410. I'm seeing all of your calls and your messages. Please help me stay alive. Let me be able to read some of these messages. I'll take a listen to Mr. Peter Obi. When we come back, Cypher will just sink his teeth in this one real quick, because on that same event where Alhaji Atiku talked about the fact that the APC is funding political parties at 50 million each, that was the same event that Peter Obi also made this talk about the coalition need to be for the right reason. So and on that same event as well, Alhaji Atiku also talked about the fact it is only coalition and merger that can kick the APC out. So both of them had something to say about coalition.
Here is easy. To bring normalcy and redecorate is more difficult.
General elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true.
Join Okoyemi Akinyode and Said Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Whatever happens with democracy affects citizens. They affect their daily living, they affect the future of their children. So we must all now get involved to make it work, because it is not working in Nigeria today. Whether we are going to do coalition or not, let's talk about the future of the country, because often we abandon the country and what we need to do, talking about power grab. I'm not interested in any coalition that is for purpose of taking power. It is about discussing Nigeria. How do we care about securing Nigeria? How do we care about the common person in Nigeria? How do we care about our children being in school? That is the most important thing. That's what we need to remove. Because what you are doing is that you're encouraging stealing of public money, because if I steal it and use it to win an election, then I get all the powers and everything, including immunity, not to be prosecuted. So we must stop it. That is what's driving the stealing. People should know that democracy is about the will of the people. People must be in charge. It is about serving the people. And that is most critical. It is now time for us to take action, because you can see where it brought us to. We now live in an insecure country. We now live in a country that is every day breeding poverty. People are suffering. So many people don't know where the next meal will come from. We now live in a system where on Friday, I visited, on day of celebration of education, I visited 15 schools where children don't even have a lab, talk less of one computer. That's what democracy has brought to us. And we must deal with it head on. It is for you to rate it by going to market. I don't need to rate it for you. It is for you to rate it. If you go to market, then you rate it yourself. It's very clear what has been said, that we don't have members. We have owners of political parties. Parties should be, the core of democracy should start from the political parties, where people respect and know that other people exist. It is not a place where you are attacking a person for your own benefit.
Thank you very much for staying with us since this conversation started at 1 p.m. and we get to do this every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Said Fuad, Victor Achibong, and myself, Okoyemi. I can always come together to take you through activities, or let me say political conversations that goes beyond the surface. Well, there's a developing story right now, and it has to do, says that pandemonium broke out at the People's Democratic Party headquarters in Abuja today as thugs allegedly invaded the Board of Trustee meeting, causing chaos at the venue. The meeting, presided over by the acting national chairman of the party, Ambassador Umar Damagum, was attended by several key party stakeholders, including National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu, Senator Ben Obi, BOT Chairman Senator Adolphus Wabara, Board Secretary Senator Ahmed Markafi, former Niger State Governor Babangida Aliyu, Chief Olagunsoye Oyinlola, and former youth leader Sunday Ude Okoye. Tension reportedly fled when Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Ude Okoye, both vying for the position of PDP National Secretary, clashed at the start of the meeting. Ude Okoye had arrived at the meeting venue before Anyanwu and the acting national chairman, but was forced out after Anyanwu's arrival. Okay, there will be more update on this one side forward, but it looks like it's from fry pan to fire. It looks like some people are just hell bent on making sure that sanity does not return to that party. It's quite unfortunate. Well, very, very unfortunate. Let's, because I know you're eager, you're itching to get into the conversation via your calls, your messages. I'm going to talk to you now. 09136000410. But I beg you, I would be forced to end the call after 1 minute. Let's just stick to the agreement. Ambassador Musba.
No problem. 1 minute is okay. How are you?
Fine. Very fine.
We have Ambassador Musba here from Mushin. No, Fred, I have to ask one thing to what you said. You mentioned Babangida 8 years. Abacha 5 years. Ababa Konjo 8 years. Is he not a military man? Military in khaki. That's for that. I want to tell Atiku that ikú tó pẹlẹ́ díẹ̀ kò gbọdọ̀ pẹlẹ́ wúrẹ́. That kind of magic format you are doing. This party, this president, above that. Let them look for other way. These are cheap. That was so cheap. And Obi is speaking grammar. If you want to rule, you have to collaborate with somebody. Single-handed, where are you going? Going nowhere. So if Atiku can bury his own ambition and allow Obi whatever, it's good for them. But, well, let them plan very well. Because
thank you.
These people have to play good politics.
Thank you very much. 1 minute is the agreement. 0913-600-0410. Keep the calls coming in. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Mainland FM.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Olaiwola from Nigeria.
You're welcome, Mr. Olaiwola.
My state concerns the opposition party in Nigeria. The reason why opposition party cannot function proper, even including APC, if they become opposition today, the reason why they cannot function is that most of the political parties are using the resources of the state to finance them. And the reason why PDP cannot have a stable political state because they are using the Federal Republic of Nigeria money to financing their party structure since 1999. As far as they are not occupied the federal level, they don't have that money to finance. As one of the constitution of each political party is that the money that everybody pays for their due every month. How many political members within their party pay that due every month? That is the problem. And that is what leading to the PDP chairman in the Benue State, Ishayu, to leave the office because he is not paying his due. And the other problem that when you are talking about Bala Mohammed he want to bring a successor to Bauchi, but the current minister of a foreign affairs want to become a governor in the Bauchi, and the movement already starting already. And that is why Dugala is one of the part of the movement.
Thank you.
And it cannot succeed. That is the problem that has happened within the Balama.
Thank you very much. Let's keep it simple, straight. 0913-600-0410. It is the Midweek Politics Show on Mainland FM. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Patrick Okoro.
Mr. Patrick, please, can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, it's Patrick Okoro.
Okay, let's have you.
It's quite unfortunate that the former speaker of House of Assembly have turned himself to boy.
House of Reps.
Yeah, he have turned himself to boy to Yᴏᴜᴛ Wike. You understand? It's quite embarrassing, but it's a good thing to hear all their secrets. I'm hope to hear more. Well, what Trump is doing in America, is good. Fashola do it here before. When he's a governor, he say you come and collect 3,000 and go back to your state. He's all this thing is a give and take. You understand? So Yᴏᴜᴛ Wike, he should cool down. He's not going to be a president of Nigeria. And I'm advising Atiku Abubakar, he should reset to his people in the north. The problem is in the north. You understand? He's not old. My last vote I vote for this particular man, and I'm still going to vote for him. He should settle with his people.
Thank
That
you.
is where the problem is coming from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. I still squeeze in a couple of calls, and then I would go on Facebook and on YouTube. We're streaming on both platforms, and I'll take your message. On the show today, we've talked about Aʀᴜᴜᴜ's demand for an unconditional release of the embattled leader of the IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We also talked about the interview of the former Speaker of the House of Reps, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, alleging that the current Bauchi State Governor's election was sponsored and bankrolled by the current FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. We also talked about Atiku Abubakar's call for merger and a coalition to salvage Nigeria's democracy from the ruling APC. And last but not least, we played a soundbite where the Labour Party presidential candidate and the former governor of Anambra State said he's not ready to be a part of any coalition that is only intended at grabbing power. But if it is about development, he said he's in for it. Let's pick this call, then we'll go on Facebook.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Yeah, hello.
Mr. Charles? Okay.
Atiku and your current president, who is older? When you put Atiku and Bola Tinubu side by side, who look much older and look more
Mr. Charles, me, I'm working on Nigerian Population Commission. Okay, Atiku is 78, so Atiku is older.
It is 100. Atiku could be 100. Atiku is more qualified to be president of Nigeria than this your current president. Now, what Atiku said about opposition, it is true, because Tinubu, your president, can do anything to remain in power in 2007. If it was Buhari that was the current president now, a State election would have gone to PDP. APC wouldn't have won that election. PDP won the election, but the election was rigged. Everybody know about that. The election was rigged in favor of APC. Because of the kind of person Tinubu is, he told them, "Do you want it to? I will give it to you." And INEC collaborated with him and
thank you. I said 1 minute. All of those are just
throwing wild allegations.
Just allegations. Those are allegations.
Other people can also come and throw allegations.
Say that the APC or even Labour Party won it.
As far as we are, there's nothing that is factual about what you have said.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Mainland FM.
Mr. Fuad and
you're welcome.
This is Kenny from Mushin.
Mr. Kenny. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Kenny from Mushin.
Yes.
Yeah. On the issue of Nigerian conduct outside the country and here, I had an experience when I traveled from England to from Adifa. We had stopover in Adifa to the national airport. Everybody on the line comfort ourselves, comport ourselves. From Addis Ababa, we had the plane that we took was the Jumbo plane. The queue from that place, from the check-in to the plane, nobody moved and moved. Nobody jumped queue. Guess what? I'm getting to Nigeria here. Airport. At arrival hall. Come and see. Everybody was jumping queue. I just feel that I was telling something now. Are we not the people coming from the same place? Jumping queue from the back to the front. That's Nigeria for you. When we are outside, we do the right thing, but in our country, we do. Anyhow,
we do what we feel like doing. Thank you. I will press for time. Side for I think I need to pause the calls for now and take some of the messages that we have on our Facebook page to start with. I would also go on our YouTube page to also read some of the messages there. So let me start from here. This one says, Unique Destiny says, most Nigerian politicians are anywhere belle face. No principle, no ideology, no integrity. I come in peace. Aziz Odukale says, this is the time that leaders should sit down and make the country work for every one of us. Donald Trump is doing what the American citizens want. Adebayo Samson Adeomi says, good afternoon, guys. Nigeria is standing on falsehood equity. The issue now is, no matter how long it will take, if all of these issues are not addressed, this nation will break up at a point. It is closer than we ever thought. Okay. Benjamin says Trump is doing what he promised Americans that he would do if voted in power. He doesn't come as a surprise. It is left for the deportees with those of us here to demand good governance from our leaders. If our resources are judiciously used, America cannot be better than Nigeria. Day one of the president Tinubu in office, he says subsidy is gone. From then, hunger and hardship had increased. So if the President Trump says era of illegal immigration is gone, financial aid to reckless spending African countries is gone, to me, President Trump is doing the bidding of the American people. That is Benjamin from Shogunle. Atonda Kayode Samuel gave us a thumbs up. Thank you. Godwin Ewa says, with these anywhere belle-faced politicians, Nigerians are preparing itself for future anarchy. Okay. Atana says, side for 100%. In politics, what is agreed by 12 midnight may not be possible at 6 a.m. Dogara is focused on his own future election, hence his political reconciliation and romance, because the Muslim ticket of 2023, Minister Wike used the unaccountable fund for political purpose. Okay. Atana says, Nigeria will collect sense by force. James Ogbona says, it is a well-known, Wike is a well-known businessman that we didn't know about. Okay, is Wike a well-known businessman that we don't know about? Is he an established business mogul like Dangote or Tedola or Yema or Bua? Mr. Fuad, whose money was Wike using to fund all of those things? Is Dogara not supposed to be ashamed to come out and voice out this illegality in a Senate climb? Is Wike not supposed to be investigated and persecuted for using river people's money to sponsor another state politics? So many illegalities in our polity. For Peter Obi, he shouldn't walk alone. He should form alliance with people of like minds. But my question, Okwe and Fuad, do you think an electoral reform is possible under this present crops of political leaders? Will Mr. President or the National Assembly carry out an electoral reform that will not favor them in 2027? It is not possible. That's James Ogbuna from Oshodi. Sunday Noah says Mr. Dogara is being used to put fire against Bala Mohammed as earlier promised by one of his emperors. No rational thinking individual will take Dogara serious because he's playing his master script to gain political favor. He only ends up belittling himself. Wike would also rubbish him tomorrow. Let Bala Mohammed defend his party, the PDP, from being ridiculed by one person. I give kudos to Sim Fubara of Rivers State. Engineer Salah Komorenikeji says, I agree to SARS. Trump is never our problem here. He is doing the interest of his country and Nigeria. And Nigeria or Africa is not only affected but illegal immigrants in all sections of the world. In the world, though Africa will be massively affected. It's high time we welcome ourselves on board and to come together, utilize inclusively with the everything inclusive of. Okay, this a lot. I didn't get that part of your message, but let me continue here. He said what the guy said is true because it authenticates there has been a transaction. Okay, let me skip your message, but I got it. Engineer Salako Morenikeji, thank you. Larry Olakomi is talking to us on Facebook and he says Governor Bala Mohammed should come out to discountenance all that Mr. Dogara has said that transpired between him and Mr. Wike. Silence means consent. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is number one money bag politician in Nigeria. He believes in money and also that what money cannot do does not exist. Okay. This one says Kabir Adegbero, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should drop his ambition to contest for presidency in 2027. Jari, Nigeria needs who will come and make Nigeria work for the people. God bless my country, Nigeria. And Kabir Adegbero, I say God bless you too. Patrick Obiazo says, are those southeasterners that emptied into the southeastern towns and village during the Christmas celebration, did they go to be kidnapped or killed? Misinformation and disinformation about the situation in the southeast on the social media is simply exaggerated. The issue is that these thugs and miscreants used and dumped by the transactional politicians in the region found a pathway from Nnamdi Kanu's issue to fight for survival through kidnap for ransom. Ask me, why is this activity more pronounced in Anambra and Imo State? Is it simply because money, more rich men are found there? I'm sure that's what you intend to say, Patrick Obiazo. But you said these issues are overrated. We have all of these things. We have friends and colleagues that share verified information with us from those sides. Prince Wise.
Yes, I do.
You're welcome.
I do all of you well.
We greet you too.
May God bless you all, bless your management, and bless my country, Nigeria. Amen. You see, number one, if Atiku, we appeal to him to not to run. If he win the election, it's my president. I won't say more than that for Atiku. And for the Iirsᴛᴏ, I love what they see. Those of us who want Kanu to be released, I want all of them to be using appealing tone, not commanding tone to the presidency, to tamper justice with mercy and release Kanu. Now, for Wike and this what Wike was saying the other time, so I will throw fire into your own state. This is the fire we are seeing now. So, that's both, that is politician. And it doesn't start today. Since in 1950, we know what happened during NPN and the UPN. When you see Senator Uba, when you see Mr. Tosi, when you see Ajilisuku, don't battle. Hey, there's a lot of battle between politicians. You know that very period, Sugaba was deported out of this country, and that is politics. So for me, Wike is doing fine in Abuja, at least for the for refund. But this Wike is asset to Nigeria. It's performing to the service of everybody. Majority of Nigeria. Look at one woman said about Wike when it started. Say we don't want to, but later I say Wike is working.
Conversation for many minutes, and we're not going to be done with that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Sorry, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fuad. My name is Shola.
Yes, you're welcome.
In fact, Baba will not stop to amaze me. It's not for everybody. Wike is not working on. So, Baba, with all due respect, Wike has his own side. So, but let me go straight to my own point. Atiku saying that or advocating for a coalition. See, these are just strange bedfellows coming together. You know, though they have same ideology, which is personal interest. You understand? What will happen?
Does that count for an ideology?
Yes, it's just their personal interest. So they have their own ideology, but it's not national interest. What happened during what's happened now? You know, these same people that came together that formed this present APC. It's the same thing that will happen again. So I kind of align with, I align with Obi. But what we should be praying for or advocating for now is the electoral reforms. You understand? If the people can use their last blood, the people that move for this country to fight for electoral reform, so that it will be the president that will be choosing INEC chairman. Once we can go clean on that, then even individual candidacy will work out. That's what everybody should be protesting for now, to carry placards.
Thank you.
I'm telling you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. We have messages on WhatsApp. Side forward. Are you sure I will not push these messages to you to read? This one says, good day, okay. Side forward, you talk of Wike as if he's the only one who bankrolled governorship candidate of Bala, who bankrolled the presidential candidate of late Tumor Yaradua and Jega, and fresh in Lagos, Sanwo-Olu, Aregbesola, Fayemi, and the Shomole legal fees that caused suspension of Justice Salami then. Okay.
If you have that information, you can tell us.
You can actually share with us. Chike from Akute is talking to us, and he says, the country is riddled and unprincipled. The country is riddled with unprincipled politicians that have no political ideology, and that is why the guy can be blabbing. As for Nnamdi Kanu, it is obvious that justice had been miscarried with his continuous incarceration. If Igbo, Asari, Oluomo, who have also made felonious statements about Nigeria, they're working freely, Kanu deserve his freedom. I don't fancy the Biafra ideology, but marginalization is real. Finally, the PDP and the APC are two leprous fingers of the same hand. Dollars were flowing in their primaries like candy, so Atiku should spare us the noise making. Chike from Akute, thank you very much. This one says, my name is Festus from Ikorodu. The program today is quite engaging and informative. Where does Fuad get his information from? In respect to Wike would continue to milk the APC and crush the PDP. He's a spoiler and he will remain that way till after 2017. I'm sure you mean to say 2027 election. Thank you very much, Festus from Ikorodu. Aside for that, somebody is asking where you get your information from. This is Don Peter from Osaka in Japan.
Still in Japan?
Yes, still in Japan. On the 1 minute policy, when I come back to Nigeria, I will make time to visit your station so that we can review this 1 minute policy when someone called, because it will take you presenters all day to present your program, and you want me to communicate my message in 1 minute. It is justice. 2 minutes is okay. Okay. But government is less leaders and be expecting a better country. That's an irony. Don Peter from Osaka, Japan. You know, Don Peter, you know how these things work. We're here to make money, to do business. So you can actually, maybe buy time for the cause. If you say 1 hour for cause, why not? You put your money where your mouth is. This is James from Agbado Junction. It says, Okpe, your open remarks to declare the show has shown how concerned you are about our Electoral Act. The fact remains that all of these things you enumerated are well known to the INEC, but unfortunately, INEC is playing politics of interest. There's no hope they would ever pay attention to your beautiful suggestions. James from Agbado Junction. Thank you very much. Let me talk to the man that calls me Prof, Mr. Gege Joshua.
I greet you. Good afternoon.
I greet you, Gege Joshua.
Yeah, Prof, I greet you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. See, as to the issue of PDP, see, Ogafor, what if PDP only want to be told the truth? The reason why they cannot settle and they will never settle is because of the fact that we have a politician as a president. See, whatever it will take for all these other opposition parties for them not to get themselves, this man will keep on throwing that thing into their midst. And as far as Wike is still working with the president, they will never know it. It is just a fact. It is a fact. That is a fact. And they should deal with it. See, 2027 or 2031 or thereabouts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess what Mr. Gege Joshua just said is practically what everyone has said, that it is the APC that is unsettling the opposition. I didn't say that.
It's helping to further unsettle.
Hello, good evening, because they were never settled. Good afternoon for your good work. Thank you. Your name and where you calling from?
Okay.
You're welcome.
Mr. Fuad, God bless you.
Thank you.
I beg, thank you for your good work. I know sometimes we talk like this, other people will talk. Why do you talk? You know, Nigeria is our Nigerian people are somehow difficult. See, if Atiku want to be president, say Atiku will say Nigeria. Obi will come now and say Obi want to contest. So Obi will separate Nigeria. Obi will share Nigeria. Tinubu is already here. Then I know that the government of Tinubu is 0%. In fact, if they will award people in Nigeria and in the whole world that are more corrupt and then 0% in their leadership is APC. But what if someone come out to say the truth? All of us should back that person, say yes, this is the truth. What Obi is saying, and some of those things that Atiku is saying is truth. Since they said Obi should not be president, if God will use Atiku to be president to deliver us from this dungeon.
We have to go. Apologies. I'm sorry. The program returns next week, Wednesday, same time, same station. It is 1 to 3 p.m. every Wednesday, and this program is called Midweek Politics, hardcore political conversation. Aside for, thank you very much for spending the next 120 minutes together on this show to enlighten the people and, of course, push the narrative of good governance. Thank you very much once again, Side for. My name is Ōʌkpēyēmī Akíndé, and next up by 3 o'clock is going to be the Boss is Request Wednesday. You have to join Kunle Daniels. They call him J-Dan, the good guy with a bad intention, and of course his beautiful co-host B, the biggest B, not the small B. I like the way they hype themselves on the show. At 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sage Babala comes in for the Situation Room, 4 to 5:30, and I would also come back by 6 o'clock after the sunset news from 5:30. By 6 o'clock we'll talk about the UEFA Champions League, something big, and there's updates on Victor Boniface's proposed move to Saudi Arabia, to be or not to be. Stay safe and keep your dialogue only on Mainland 98.3 FM, because we are the sound of Lagos.
Ọ̀rọ̀ màrè